about 8'2". You're not in bad shape.
Gervonta Tank Davis has gone quiet. No tweets, no press junkets, no playful trash talk. But while the fighter himself is silent, his team has started making noise. And it's not promotional hype this time, it's a warning. And it's personal. Because the last time Tank stepped into the ring, things didn't go according to plan. Not even close.
As we are in the 6th round, let's see what happens, because the words are being thrown at each other. Let's see if the punches start being thrown, and yes, they do!
March 31st was supposed to be a tune-up, a confidence booster. Another knockout on Tank's growing highlight reel. Instead, it ended in a majority draw. But inside Team Davis, they didn't treat that as a technicality. They treated it like a loss. Why? Because Lamont Roach Jr., a fighter many dismissed as undersized and overmatched, pushed Tank to the brink. And worse, Tank looked vulnerable. For the first time in years, fans started asking, is Gervonta Davis slipping? The rematch wasn't part of the plan. It wasn't supposed to be necessary. Tank had other targets in sight, multi-million-dollar exhibitions, legacy-defining fights, and headline appearances. But all of that paused, because Lamont Roach cracked the mystique. Some say it was the hair grease, some say it was a fluke. But the ones inside the gym, the ones watching from ringside, they saw something else. They saw a fighter who didn't adjust, who chased the finish and couldn't get it. And they saw Roach stay calm. And now, everything has changed. But if you think Tank Davis is coming into this rematch with excuses, you're dead wrong. His team says this isn't about belts anymore. It's about war. How do you beat a man you overlooked once he's got your full attention? What if the next mistake isn't survivable? There's no glitz around Gervonta right now. No red carpets, no movie cameos, no flashy sparring clips. He's locked down in Las Vegas, running at sunrise, sparring with bigger, more aggressive partners, doubling his sessions, turning down media. All of it for one reason: erase March 31st from memory.
Bro, I've been checking Google, I've been checking Twitter, Instagram, every website imaginable to find out when this rematch was gonna happen. August 16th, I got my answer. Hey, money is on Tank, bro. Money is on Tank.
Coach Calvin Ford calls this version of Tank the reset. No distractions, no headlines, just focus. But there's a deeper transformation happening behind closed doors. According to veteran trainer Greg Hackett, it's not about power anymore. Tank needs to calm down, Hackett told Fight Hype. He's got to work behind the jab, focus on combinations, stop chasing knockouts. Be the thinking fighter, not just the explosive one. That's not just boxing advice, it's a mindset shift. And it may be the only way to beat Roach clean.
Super exceeded my expectations because Lamont did more than what I thought he would do. I thought Tank was going to be able to break me down, but the points I was making, they came out was because Lamont didn't come to play. I mean, he wasn't really like fuck Tank, but it was like fuck Tank. It was like.
Even Hall of Famer Timothy Bradley chimed in, suggesting Davis might benefit from sports therapy, not because he's broken, but because elite fighters need emotional clarity under pressure. This is the first time in Davis's career where the spotlight isn't his friend. It's a magnifying glass. But while Tank is stripping everything back and rebuilding, Roach is evolving into something else entirely. Lamont Roach Jr. isn't just training, he's hunting. And now, his entire camp is talking like this isn't just a fight, it's a takedown. If you're expecting Lamont Roach to play the underdog again, don't. He might be soft-spoken in interviews, but behind gym doors, his energy is undeniable. Sources close to the camp say he's laser-focused, he's ramped up conditioning, he's sparring at a brutal pace, and he's targeting one thing: Tank's rhythm. His younger brother Jordan Roach recently went viral for saying what a lot of fighters are thinking but aren't bold enough to say, what goes differently this time? My brother wins, what stays the same? He puts his hands on him. They're not just confident, they're certain. Strategically, Roach is building the same blueprint he used in March, but better. Start fast, attack the body early, disrupt Davis's rhythm before he can load up for big shots. Make it messy, make it uncomfortable. Greg Hackett says Roach's only path to victory is to go first every time. No feeling out, no patience. He already saw Davis hesitate once. He doesn't plan to give him that luxury again while Tank is obsessing over redemption.
How many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't give me the win.
Roach is chasing legacy, because if he finishes what he started in March, it won't just be Tank who takes the loss, it'll be boxing's entire 135-pound ecosystem. Gervonta Tank Davis isn't just fighting for revenge, he's fighting for everything that was supposed to come after that Roach fight. The money, the mega bouts, the myth, the marketability. One more win, and Davis was heading straight into the business of superstardom. But Lamont Roach rewrote the script. It wasn't just a draw on the judges' scorecards, it was a draw that rattled the industry. Behind closed doors, a blockbuster crossover event was brewing. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Gervonta,
I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
is there a height limit in boxing?
A match designed to explode across platforms, bridge mainstream fandoms, and shatter streaming records. According to Jake Paul, the deal was on the 1-yard line. But when the draw hit, everything stopped. Paul went public with his frustration, and when Jake speaks love him or hate him, the spotlight follows. I never thought Tank was that good, Paul told Ariel Helwani. It would just take someone with high activity who wasn't afraid of his power. Then he twisted the knife even deeper. That fight looked like a glorified sparring session. That statement didn't just spark outrage, it echoed the whispers already circulating in the boxing world that the invincible image of Tank Davis had taken a major hit.
Rematch, Lamont Roach, he wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. I never really thought Tank was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. I always saw so many holes in his game.
Meanwhile, promoters who had been lining up sponsorship deals and long-term brand partnerships, they pulled back. Not because Davis can't sell, but because the certainty is gone. Tank was supposed to be inevitable. Now he's unpredictable. But this fallout doesn't just derail Davis's payday. It risks dismantling a long-awaited super fight, one that could define an entire era of boxing.
You mentioned not wanting to overlook Zepeda, but Turkey called in saying you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Shakur Stevenson isn't rooting against Tank Davis. But when he watches the Roach rematch unfold, he's nervous, really nervous. Because if Davis slips again, the fight Shakur spent years chasing could vanish overnight. Shakur Stevenson has never been shy about his ambitions. He wants to fight the best, undefeated, unquestioned, unblemished. And for years, one name topped that list, Gervonta Davis. But now that matchup, the defining lightweight clash of this generation, hangs in the balance. In a candid interview, Stevenson didn't hold back. I like Lamont in the rematch. I sparred him. I know what he brings. He's smart, he's tough, and he doesn't freeze when things get heavy. This wasn't casual praise. This was a former opponent recognizing that Roach has the tools, not just to compete, but to win again. And for Stevenson, that's a problem, because legacy fights rely on stakes, and an undefeated Tank Davis is the crown jewel. If Roach takes that from him, the allure fades, the hype dips, the public narrative shifts. Now, instead of two kings colliding, it becomes a redemption arc versus a clean slate, and that doesn't hit the same. If he loses, Stevenson warned, it's going to look bad, real bad. It won't be the same fight anymore, and honestly, it might not happen at all. And if you think that's just Shakur being cautious, think again, because even boxing legends are starting to lean Roach's way.
Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to win the fight. I don't know that. But Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You got to understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from. Roach is a very formidable opponent.
Roy Jones Jr. watched the first fight closely, and now he's putting his credibility on the line. Because when asked who he thinks has the edge this time, he didn't hesitate. He said Lamont Roach. Roy Jones Jr. is a name you don't take lightly in boxing. A Hall of Famer, a 4-division world champ, a master of movement and timing, And after decades inside the sport, Jones knows how to spot momentum shifts. Roach shocked the world once, Jones said, and I think he can do it again. He didn't say Tank wasn't elite. He didn't say it was guaranteed. But he did say something that's been growing louder in gyms and behind-the-scenes chats. Tank's got to come back with a completely different attitude, different personality, different mindset, or he's in for the same result.
What's your dream fight card?
Dream fight card?
Anybody.
So there's a couple fights on there. Me versus Floyd.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
Meanwhile, Gervonta added even more fuel to the fire. When asked about his dream opponent on a podcast, he said one name. Not Stevenson, not Roach, not Ryan Garcia. He said Floyd Mayweather Jr. That wasn't just a fantasy matchup. That was an emotional crack in the armor. Because Mayweather isn't just his former promoter. He's the man who molded him, mentored him, and then walked away. The fallout between the two has been ugly. Silent tension, contract disputes, ego clashes, and now Davis naming him as a dream opponent? That's not about money. That's about unfinished business. About proving he was more than a prodigy in Mayweather's shadow. But here's the truth. If he loses to Roach, that dream dies too. So when August 16th rolls around, it won't just be a fight. It will be a reckoning, one that could rewrite the history of the lightweight division. This rematch isn't about scorecards. It's not about belts or hype or even rankings anymore. It's about legacy versus uprising, survival versus destiny. And it's personal on both sides. Lamont Roach wasn't supposed to get this far, but he did. And now he's coming to finish what he started. Gervonta Davis, he's not just trying to win. He's trying to protect the future of everything he's built. And if he fails, he loses more than just a fight. He loses control of his story. So now we ask you, will Roach shock the world again? Or will Tank Davis rise from the flames and remind everyone why they feared his name? Let us know in the comments, like if you're riding with Tank. And check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.